a few thoughts for the road for my audience. Now I know a lot of my audience pays attention to electric universe stuff, so this is for you guys. Um, the idea I saw the video of the electric mercury, or so to speak, but I found a few problems with their interpretations. I thought I'd share them with you guys. Lightning, they have lightning reaching from star to star, right? There's one main problem with that I see. Lightning requires something called charge buildup, where you have positive and negative charge building up from two different plates or two different areas. So in order to have lightning, you need charge buildup. Huge problem because vacuum doesn't impede charge. Charge flows freely in vacuum. That's how it can come all the way from the sun to the earth and traverse many billions of miles. Or hundreds of millions. 93 million, I think, 1 AU. That's how charge can traverse 93 million miles, because there's nothing preventing the flow of it. The reason why there's lightning is because there's charge buildup. The air prevents the current from flowing. It's a insulator in that regard. So huge problem with that. How do you explain charge buildup when vacuum doesn't impede the flow of charge, thus creating the phenomenon known as lightning? Thus, the concept of lightning scarring planets is very strange to me. The objects that have surface features on them, they can easily be explained with basic geology. I've been reading that book by Leahy, and it's just land formation. It's how land forms. And inside the theory I'm drawing up, that those features are developed during earlier stages of the gas giant, when the object is being formed in the center and land is layered on top of it over time. Eventually the atmosphere photoevaporates away and exposes the core, which we call the new planet. Basically that means that once the object has the majority of its atmosphere ripped away, the only real effects it has, or that can change its surface features after it fully cools, are impacts from large meteorites hitting it, creating craters, and photoevaporation, meaning radiation from a hot star impacts it and rips away its surface. And there's a lot of electrochemical reactions that take place in that regard. But to say lightning, no. It would probably be a very slow process, and it's not catastrophic at all. It just takes a lot of time for charged particles to weather a surface. It's not something that just goes boom and all of a sudden you have a large valley or canyon. It doesn't work like that. Their idea of objects being ejected from other objects is without mechanism. So in order to keep that hypothesis, you need to have a mechanism, or else it's just saying God did it. It's the same problem establishment has with their protoplanetary disk and nebula hypothesis model. They don't know how the objects lose angular momentum. They have no mechanism for that. So basically they're saying God did it there too. So for those people that are like, you're talking bad about electric universe, no, I'm talking bad about them and establishment, because they both are trying to explain things without mechanism. I think that's a failure to understand nature. I noticed inside of the video of electric universe, they avoid talk of sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic rock. Why? That's basic geology. They avoid talk of phase transitions, meaning plasma recombination, gas condensation, and deposition, as well as solidification, sublimation, between solids and liquids and that kind of stuff. They don't talk about that stuff at all. Why? I think I know why. But yeah, they also avoid talk of Markland convection, in which a plasma sorts based off of its ionization potential of the material. They don't mention that at all. Why? It seems as if they try to force all their ideas to fit the Worlds in Collision book written by Velikovsky. I think that's horrible. I also think that Electric Universe is good, regardless if, they ignore basic geological processes and basic electrical things, because it attracts people who see problems with establishment astronomy and astrophysics and cosmology. Where do people go when they have problems with the issues that cosmology gives us? There's no place to go. If you can see the problems, if you're, astute enough to see the issues that they have, where do you go? Do you just publish a paper in a peer-reviewed journal? They'll get rejected immediately. What do you do? How do you speak up? Where's the groups that allow you to have a voice? There are none. They're basically, all you have is Vixra, which you can publish a paper, and General Science Journal. And then there's a group called the CNPS, the Chappelle Natural Philosophy Society. But, those people talk bad about special relativity, and I like special relativity. So, you're going to have all these problems, but, as well, there's very little you can do to get your voice heard. So, where do people go who have problems? Well, they're immediately attracted to Electric Universe stuff, but Electric Universe, they don't even want to talk about science-related matters. They want to try to justify their own beliefs to fit into the book Worlds in Collision. So they're off in their own little whatever. So they're out of the question. Where do people go? Who do you talk to when you can point all this stuff out, all the problems that they have, and offer solutions? There's nowhere to go. In short, Electric Universe, their ideas are unsatisfactory. If you see problems with establishment astronomy, chances are you're going to see very different problems in Electric Universe, and you're not going to want to jump ship. That's why EU doesn't get a lot of attention from mainstream astronomy, is because not only do they not answer the questions that establishment and solve their problems, but they invent more problems. The replacement I have to offer is in progress. It's a development of the theory, and I was naive at first to think that establishment would immediately attach onto it, but their focus is in the wrong place. They think that there's this dark matter and dark energy out there, and they're going to spend billions of dollars in these telescopes to try to find it. And, of course, they're going to declare it to exist, because how do you spend $1 billion and not find what you're looking for? You better find what you're looking for, or else you're going to get fired, and your career is over. So groupthink is going to push them into finding dark matter and dark energy, even though it doesn't exist. That's a pretty good prediction of future scientific endeavors in that regard, but it's pseudoscience, so I would ignore that. Where was I going? Anyways, I just have to cover hundreds of topics and not ignore them, really. I think Electric Universe is ignoring science in favor of a person who wanted to push mythology as explaining things, what they call comparative mythology. I think that's very similar to people trying to make the Bible make sense. So the parallels there are pretty uncanny. And I just think it's best not to look at Worlds in Collision as any sort of Bible. I'd want people to read books like this. written by individuals who didn't want to use mythology to explain anything. You don't need mythology. Or read books like this. Look. Physics Demystified. It's a self-teaching manual on how to teach and how to learn physics, basic physical concepts here. Those are the things you should be reading, man. But I think I made this talk long enough. It's more of a rant, really. I highly disagree with both establishment astronomy and their fairy dust theories, and I disagree with Electric Universe in that they ignore basic geology and electrical concepts in favor of trying to force everything to fit this Worlds in Collision book, which is very strange. Alright, today is June 29th, 2015.